They say monsters hide in the woods. But in Silver Bullet, the monster was preaching from the pulpit. This isn't just another 80s werewolf flick. Silver Bullet is Stephen King's twisted take on faith, guilt, and the beast within us all. But here's what most people miss. The werewolf in Silver Bullet isn't cursed by a bite. He's cursed by belief. Tonight, we're digging into the real horror behind Silver Bullet. The origins of the werewolf curse, the truth about Reverend Lowe, and how faith itself became the monster's trigger. By the end of this video, you'll never look at that quiet little church the same way again. Tarker's Mills, Maine. A town so small, you can hear the trains before you see them. The lawns are tidy, the neighbors polite, and evil. Well, that's something people only whisper about. Until spring 1976, when the first body turned up. A railroad worker named Arnie Westrom is found decapitated by the tracks. The town blames an accident. But then, a pregnant woman dies in her bedroom. An abusive husband torn apart in his greenhouse. And finally, a child, Brady Kincaid, Marty Coslaw's best friend. That's when fear grips the town. Because something, or someone, is hunting the people of Tarker's Mills, and no one can stop it. But here is the twist. Enter Marty Coslaw, a young boy bound to his wheelchair, but armed with something no one else in town has: curiosity. While adults panic, Marty starts noticing patterns. The timing of the attacks, the wounds, the strange sounds under the full moon. Then one night, Marty sneaks out onto a bridge with fireworks, a small act of rebellion. But that moment becomes the turning point of the story. Out of the fog, he sees it. The werewolf. Not a myth, not a dream. Real. And when it lunges for him, he fires a rocket straight into its left eye. The next morning, Reverend Lowe is seen wearing an eye patch, and suddenly, the monster has a face. Reverend Lowe isn't your typical Stephen King villain. He's not drunk on power or haunted by childhood trauma. He's worse. He believes he's doing God's work. In his twisted mind, the murders are divine judgment. Each victim, a sinner. The pregnant woman, she was ending a life. The abusive husband, a destroyer of peace. The child, an innocent taken too soon, but a test of faith. In the novella Cycle of the Werewolf, Lowe admits he doesn't remember how the curse began. One night, he simply woke up covered in blood, and the killings started. But here's where it gets dark. He doesn't fight it. He embraces it. Instead of seeking help, Lowe sees the curse as a form of purification. A wolf chosen by God to cleanse sin through violence. It's a twisted reflection of religion's darkest side, when faith becomes justification for horror. To understand Lowe, you have to understand the curse. Long before Hollywood made werewolves cool, the legend began in medieval Europe, tied not to moonlight, but to faith and punishment. In the Middle Ages, the church believed lycanthropy was a divine curse sent to those who turned away from God. Some believed the devil offered the form of a wolf in exchange for loyalty. Others saw it as penance, a punishment that stripped away humanity to expose the sinner beneath. In older folklore, wolves were symbols of temptation, raw desire, aggression, hunger. So when King created Reverend Lowe, he wasn't inventing something new. He was resurrecting an old fear, the idea that even men of God could be cursed, not by the devil, but by their own suppressed nature. Lowe's transformation isn't triggered by a bite. It's triggered by guilt. And the deeper his faith, the stronger the beast becomes. After Marty discovers the truth, he writes the Reverend anonymous letters, begging him to end his life before the next full moon. But instead, Lowe hunts him down, cornering him under a covered bridge and whispering, "I'm serving God's will, Marty. I take sinners. You make me do this." It's one of Stephen King's most chilling scenes because it blurs the line between evil and righteousness. Lowe doesn't see himself as cursed. He sees himself as chosen. It's the perfect metaphor for King's recurring theme, that true evil hides in normal faces, not in monsters, but in the people trusted to protect us. When Lowe transforms again, the townsfolk still refuse to see the truth, because believing in a werewolf would mean accepting that their own pastor, their moral center, has become the thing they fear most. Desperate, Marty turns to his Uncle Red, the town drunk who believes in everything but himself. He's the only adult willing to listen. Together with Jane, Marty's sister, they take two sacred symbols, Jane's silver cross and Marty's silver medallion, and melt them into one thing capable of ending the curse. A single silver bullet. It's more than a weapon. It's faith transformed into defiance. When Lowe finally breaks into their home, his human mask is gone. The beast fully revealed. He crashes through walls, rips apart furniture. Chaos and terror fill the room. But in the end, it's the boy who couldn't walk that stands his ground. Marty fires, one shot, right through the wolf's eye. And just like that, the beast dies, not by holy scripture, but by courage. At its core, Silver Bullet isn't just a monster movie. It's about belief, how far people will go to justify their own darkness. Reverend Lowe used faith to excuse murder. The town used denial to excuse blindness. And Marty, the boy everyone underestimated, used faith in himself to survive. That's why King's story still hits so hard, because it isn't about a curse that turns man into monster. It's about the monster that was already there. The werewolf just made it visible. When you strip away the fangs and full moons, Silver Bullet becomes a mirror, showing us what happens when fear hides behind religion, when sin wears a smile, and when monsters sit in pews instead of forests. And maybe that's the real curse of Reverend Lowe. Not that he turned into a wolf, but that deep down he always was one. If you thought Silver Bullet was dark, wait until you see how it connects to The Howling. Click the next video to see where the werewolf legend truly began.